Greetings, beloved beings, fellow travelers on this planet, and guests from other realms. My name is Izobel Freeman, and I'm going to be doing a general reading for the collective for March 25th through April 7th, 2018. Hope you all had a transformative and healing new moon in Pisces, as well as a beautiful spring equinox. There's a lot to process from the last couple of weeks, and the next two are looking dramatic as well. Before I get started with the reading, as I've said in previous readings, I'm doing my best to give you all a basic astrological forecast in addition to reading cards, because we often get messages regarding the overall energetic climate, and the cards themselves also have so many astrological correspondences. I want you all to have context for these, so here we go. This week begins gently, and we need that on the heels of yesterday's Sun-Mars square. Our first major aspect doesn't form until Wednesday the 28th, when sweet Lady Venus, the planet of beauty, love, and fortune, forms a conjunction with Uranus, the planet of radical revolution. This means your sense of adventure and creativity will get a big boost when it comes to your relationships, your money, and your stuff. Wednesday's a great day to take a chance, think outside the box, or splurge on something that makes you or your surroundings feel more beautiful. Just know your limits so you don't end up regretting something later, either financially or with a partner. Venus conjunct Uranus can be magical and lucky, but there's a difference between whimsy and recklessness. Be sure you know that difference. Then, on Thursday the 29th, the Sun squares Saturn. This means that your personal identity and self-esteem may feel pitted against judgment and expectations. Perhaps there are authority figures in your life who question your decisions, life path, and self-expression. Or it might be that your own internal critic starts to second-guess whatever you're doing at the moment. It's really important to stay heart-based and grounded on Thursday so you can keep the faith that you and your higher mind really do know what's best for you, no matter what anyone else says. Even if it feels like nothing is happening or that things are moving too slowly, trust your process and your life. If you keep putting in honest effort towards your true soul's purpose, you're going to be rewarded. We'll get a relative astrological break on Friday before an eventful day on Saturday the 31st, when Venus leaves fiery Aries for earthy and sensual Taurus. And it's also the full moon in Libra, our second and final blue moon this year. A blue moon happens when we get 2 full moons in a calendar month. This happened in January, when we had a full moon on New Year's Day, and then that amazing super blue blood moon lunar eclipse on January 31st. Because February was a short month, it had no full moons at all. So here we are at the end of March with our second full moon this month. Every full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon, meaning they're on opposite sides of the wheel of the zodiac, giving us a chance to balance our outward and inwardly directed energies. The sun in Aries wants to focus on getting ours, while the moon in Libra wants things to feel fair for everyone involved. That balance is going to be hard to strike when both the sun and the moon are squaring an intimidating Mars-Saturn conjunction beginning to form in Capricorn. Mars is impulsive and headstrong, while Saturn is serious and conservative, so expect some spinning of wheels when Mars demands action, while Saturn slams on the brakes. Add in another conjunction forming between the Sun and retrograde Mercury, and there's potential for overthinking, misunderstandings, and analysis paralysis while we try to sort out this knot of us versus them, roadblocks versus rocket boosters type of energy. This full moon is going to require a lot of patience. Don't fall prey to frustrations or intolerance, no matter what happens in the news or in your own life. This is a time for introspection, taking a deep breath before you act or speak, and choosing the higher manifestations of all the planets involved. Respect yourself while staying out of the ego mind with Sun conjunct Mercury in Aries. Be sensitive to the feelings of others with the moon in Libra. And put Mars's passion to work on something constructive using Saturn's discipline in Capricorn. It is possible to get great benefits out of this full moon, if you can pull off this delicate balancing act. The energy of Venus moving out of Aries and into Taurus will help lend support, because Venus in Taurus is loving in a very practical and sustainable way. Venus rules Taurus, and Taurus loves getting the most out of life when it comes to food, finances, and pleasurable experiences. This down-to-earth, solid, comfort-seeking energy will help ground any anxiety activated by this full moon's uncomfortable aspects. Getting out in nature and touching our Mother Earth at this time can also remind us that we're supported and loved in ways we can't always see, but can always reconnect to whenever we choose. Also on Saturday, it's the first day of Passover, a week-long Jewish holiday commemorating the events of the Book of Exodus, when the Israelites were freed from slavery in Egypt. Then, on Sunday the 1st, it's both Easter and April Fool's Day. While April Fool's Day is just an excuse for people around the world to play pranks on each other, Easter celebrates the resurrection of Jesus as described in the New Testament. Its name is also a reference to the pagan goddess Ostara, bringer of the dawn, whose festival was once celebrated around the same time each year. Ostara is now the modern pagan name for the Sabbat of the spring equinox, which happened on the 20th. Also on Sunday, Mercury retrogrades back to meet up with the Sun for the second time since February 17th. Expect topics that were relevant at that time to resurface to be revisited and re-examined, especially in the news. On a personal level, Sun conjunct Mercury is a bright and social aspect, meaning we may feel compelled to catch up with friends or family, or to get out and soak up as much human interaction or information as we can. Sunday's also a great day to plan, to focus on business, or on anything else that requires inspired thought. Mercury being retrograde may also lend the day a more internal and introspective quality, so favored activities may also include completing or resolving any projects or challenges from the past. Then, on Monday the 2nd, that Mars-Saturn conjunction that was forming during the full moon in Libra becomes exact. Mars rules our personal will and aggression, while Saturn is the planet of rules and discipline. So those of us who can channel these forces into some sort of practical application can get a big boost of sustained power, while those of us who are feeling a little more off balance may find ourselves irritable, frustrated, or resentful of limitations. Again, patience is going to be your friend, dear ones. Be sure to give everyone, and especially yourself, a little extra slack on Monday. After that, we're going to need Tuesday's relative calm to integrate, because on Wednesday the 4th, retrograde Mercury revisits its square to Mars from February 28th. That patience I mentioned is not Mars's strong suit, so when he squares off with Mercury, we can all suddenly develop really short fuses. So definitely think twice before you hit send, and watch for things to be extra spiky in the news. Do whatever you need to keep calm and just breathe. And if you find yourself extra anxious, try doing a non-competitive physical activity like running or swimming. Mars loves to be active, so moving can really help ease his intensity. Then, on Thursday the 5th, Mercury also revisits its March 11th square with Saturn. This means you could be extra critical of yourself and others. You might also feel limited or frustrated by authority figures or even peers raining on your parade when it comes to your own goals. So this is a great day to keep to yourself and work diligently on what matters most to you without anyone else around. Like the other challenging aspects we're facing during these 2 weeks, there's hidden power in this one if you can stay on task without getting distracted by conflicts that could pull you off course. We get another processing day on Friday, and then, thankfully, on Saturday the 7th, the last day of Passover, we get a more harmonious aspect to help ground us, when Venus in Taurus forms a supportive trine with Saturn in Capricorn. Venus playing nice with Saturn brings much-needed stability to our relationships and our creative pursuits. Saturn's practicality will help manifest Venus's dreams of love, wealth, and artistic expression into real-world results that have the potential to stand the test of time. Look for good returns on any energy you invest in any of these areas as long as you stay grounded, heart-based, and pragmatic. Well, it's looking like another crazy couple of weeks on the astrological front. So here's hoping our friends in spirit have some words of wisdom to help see us through. Let's get to the cards, shall we? As I do in every reading, I'm going to begin by lighting my little candle for my beautiful spirit kitty Pinky, who wasn't physical with me until 2015 and was and still is my greatest spiritual teacher. Okay, everybody, it's been really interesting watching the astrology in the last few weeks. Excuse me, frog in my throat. Lots of drama happening, lots of drama on the world stage, and hopefully transformative stuff going on for all of you. Good stuff. As I said last time, we as human conscious creators here in this beautiful game of 3D space-time conscious creation, we cannot grow without challenges. And it really feels like the universe has ramped up the amount of challenges that it's throwing at us recently, which on one hand can be seen as kind of scary and can throw some of us off our A game. But on the other hand, should be taken in the spirit that they're meant, meaning that the universe does not give us what we are not ready for. And that should be seen in some ways as a great compliment to us, that we are ready, that we are an advanced spiritual species, that we are ready for the challenges that are coming at us right now, that we on this planet at this time, that there's no one better for the job right now of transforming these challenges than us here on this planet, than us here on this planet right now today. And so that makes us pretty darn special. I like to think of it that way. For those of you just joining us, welcome. And I'm going to explain the spread as I lay it down for you. But before I do that, I like to begin every reading by flipping this lovely Angel Tarot deck over to see what we have for our overall energy for the reading. All right, the moon, here for the blue moon. And what a blue moon it is. This moon really, friends, it has the potential to be kind of a downer. But it also has this wonderful potential to be empowering, to give us this wonderful sort of double boost. It's tough because we've got these opposing forces. Every full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon. And oppositions can be sort of tense times. They can be opportunities for us to balance what seems to be a possible competition between two parts of ourselves. The sun being the more conscious part of us that is facing everyday life and is focusing our will to create on the world. And the moon being our subconscious and our deep instinctual emotions and feelings. So when those two are sort of at odds or opposing each other, there's a feeling of possibly our conscious mind or our conscious focus being at odds with our emotions and our instincts, but it could also be this wonderful balance that we are striking. And the thing that's so sensitive about this particular moon is that T-square that it is forming with the sun basically conjunct Mercury retrograde, which makes us all sort of antsy and overthinky about things, makes our mind want to run away down paths of either sort of focusing on the past or focusing on ways that we used to think about things. And that we've got the moon over in Libra saying, hey, can't we all just get along and can't we all make this good for all of us? And, sun conjunct retrograde Mercury in Aries being like, no, it's about me and what about me and am I going to get mine? And I'm worried about that and now I'm overthinking. And then we've got this kind of tense, again, really tense conjunction forming between Mars and Saturn in Capricorn. And Mars and Saturn, they're sort of two different manifestations of, say, the divine masculine type forces within us. Mars being the more youthful, let's get things done, I want to get mine now aspect of the divine masculine doing force, the impetus to create change in the world. And Saturn being the more sort of old man on the mountain, no, these are the way things are always done and don't go off and be hasty type of energy. And so when you've got the two of them coming together and it's kind of got this energy of slamming on the gas while you've also got the brake on. And that can be really hard to balance. But at the same time, squares are not inherently bad in astrology. And I know I'm not talking about this card, but I'm flowing with what I'm getting from the guides right now. Squares are not inherently bad. They are just full of tension, full of possibility, full of the tension of our discomfort. They're an uncomfortable energy that challenges us to transform it into something more constructive, more creative, more empowering. So those of us who can keep it together for this full moon, for this blue moon that has the potential to kind of make us blue if we just let it get us down. But with this energy that is ripe for transformation, we have the power here. And this moon card showing up here, Archangel Haniel, the angel that helps us develop that intuitive, that sort of magical, watery, subconscious part of us, the important psychic side of us. Important psychic insights here, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. And this last line is super important on this card. Release the fears that hold you back. Mercury being retrograde right now means that Mercury is going to go retrograding back and make us take a second look at how we're thinking about whatever topics that it's activating when it makes conjunctions with planets, when it makes squares with planets. We've got some squares, we've got square with Saturn, we got craziness. And we have that Mercury-Sun conjunction that's happening basically around the time of this full moon. And so, yeah, lots of uncomfortable stuff that Mercury is going to want us to go look at. But meanwhile, there's beautiful stuff happening behind the scenes. The moon, 18. If you reduce this number numerologically, it reduces to a 9 because you add the 1 to the 8. And 9 is this wonderful number of the end of a cycle, the maturation of something, which is wonderful to have for this blue full moon, because not only is it a full moon, which is the culmination of the energy that hopefully we were planting intentions for the new moon in Pisces. This full moon is going to be that kind of maturation of that. And you remember how the new moon was a little bit uncomfortable because it had all this Chiron energy, and Chiron is all about our going back and re-examining our wounds and all of our childhood trauma and all the things that make us worried. This full moon is culminating whatever some of us were working on at that time. And also world stage stuff that's really been active in our collective consciousness, on the surface of stuff. Events behind the scenes being revealed. Lots of stuff coming up in the news about secret shenanigans that have been going on behind the scenes, or stuff that we really have not been able to focus on consciously because we didn't have all the information. Now things are starting to come to light. That's what Mercury retrograde, again, is all about, is going back and digging up stuff and taking a second look at things. But throughout all of this time and all of these tense aspects that we've got to go through, we lived through the last 2 weeks and we didn't die. Yay, we survived. So that should give us confidence to release the fears that hold us back and to go into this next 2 weeks where Mercury is going to be retreading a lot of the stuff that it just came through and giving us a chance to integrate it all, giving us a chance to redefine things and to release the fears that hold us back. Beautiful stuff. If any of you need to go inside and need to go in to meditate or to pray, whatever modality that you like to use, Archangel Haniel is a great archetype to call on to help you if you feel adrift or like you're drowning in these psychic waters, subconscious stuff, maybe bubbling emotional stuff that's coming up. Maybe your Chiron pain from the last couple of weeks with all the Chiron aspects is coming up. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or like you just can't keep it together, she's great for that, to help you make sense of these things and to find meaning. This card is wonderful because it talks about this balance. You've got, say, the tame collie dog on this side of the stream. And interesting that these two streams, consciousness and subconscious, mingle in one body of water, and so that we can integrate the two of them. There's a lot of duality here and a lot of balancing energy. So tame collie versus wild wolf, conscious energy versus subconscious, or you could reverse them depending on how you want to read the card. This theme of balancing and realizing that everything flows into the same body. We are all one in the cosmic waters of being, and we're bigger beings. You can imagine that this body of water, I can't speak. Spirit talking so fast, I can't talk words. I can't make words. This body of water is much bigger than we can see. Based on what we can see in this illustration, it just keeps going. And so we are much bigger. We have much more capacity than we know. We are bigger than we know. We are stronger than we know. And we have the ability to release these fears and to transform and to become stronger, even in the face of all these challenges that we are dealing with now, both personally and as a collective on the world stage. Okay, that was a lot from one card. Oh my goodness. Thank you for bearing with me with that. I am going to begin shuffling for the spread, as I like to do, in this very loose, and I like to call it my mushy way of shuffling, for the spread that I call my quick cross spread. This is a spread that I came up with intuitively on my own when the guides first started asking me to do these readings. I just came up with this spread for my own use, and then the guides told me, you've got to share these readings online with the collective, and here I am. So you can see that as I shuffle, cards kind of sneak out of their own volition, and this means this is the card that we need for this part of the spread at this moment. This first position in the spread is recent past into present for our human collective. Next card is going to be the present into near future card. Oh, this one wants to come off the top, so I'm going to let it. Okay. These cards are often highly related, these two, because they are connected by the ever-present present, our point of power, our point of creation in the now, which is always the case. Our power is always in the now. So we can take the information that the guides are giving us, these two cards, and know that this is either a pivot point, it can be a decision, it can be a building on top of one another, it can be just more information that they're giving us about this kind of present pivot moment that we find ourselves in. Next position in the spread is going to be the start of a vertical, and this vertical is a representation of where the collective is sort of at the moment in mind or higher mind, heart, and body or subconscious wisdom. Okay, let's see if I can get mind or higher mind card. And the mind energy, I've got to say, is really weird right now, just because of Mercury retrograde. I know lots of astrologers talk about Mercury retrograde as if it's just, the end of the world. Like, things are going to go wrong for you. You're going to lose, you're going to lose an integral or a pivotal email, or your car is going to break down, or something's going to go wrong. Oh, this one wants to come off, so... but it can be read also, Mercury retrograde can be a period where we just mostly, our minds kind of turn inward. That as Mercury retrogrades, it's going to go back again and hit those points that it's already covered. It's almost like we're getting a second chance to kind of look at those same topics and decide whether or not the conclusions that we came to back then are the right conclusions for us, the ones that serve us most, or whether we need to, maybe there's new information that's come to light, and so we need to readdress those issues and maybe redefine them in some more empowering or more useful way. Okay, let's see if we can get, this one. A couple cards wanting to float off the top today. So here we go. Heart card, great. And let's move on to the body or subconscious wisdom position. Whoa, again. Wow. Okay. Good. Next position in the spread is what I like to call the help position. And this is where the guides can give us a little extra information either about something that can help us, whether that be spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical aid, or sometimes it can be sometimes like a caution card, like there's an issue in our lives that maybe, or in the collective, that maybe we have not been giving enough attention, and it's going to bite us in some way if we don't pay more attention to it and resolve it in some way. So sometimes that can be a cautionary position. Let's see what we get. Ooh. This one seems to want to come out. Great. Okay, last card in the spread is what some people like to call the outcome position. And you can call it that, you can read it like that. I like to say it's the most probable direction that the collective is heading, because we are all conscious creators. We all are creating our future from moment to moment through law of attraction. And I never like to say that anyone can predict the future for that very reason. But there is a general like weather pattern. There's a pattern of a consensus agreement among the collective that we're going to explore a certain energy or a certain direction. And so, ooh, this one just wants to come off, so I'm going to allow it to. So it's nice to know what the weather might be like so that you can position yourself within the larger convoy of humanity, wherever you would like to be, and manifest your own future within that sort of general direction. All right, great. Recent past into present. Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent, graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. Well, she has shown up because the sun, this beautiful, fiery central point of our conscious mind, has now passed into Aries. And so we've got this beautiful beginning of the zodiac. Astrologers calculate the year, or the wheel of the year, from the point of 0 degrees Aries. And so when the sun crosses that point at spring equinox, we have a brand new astrological year. And Aries being this amazing fire sign, and the sign that's kind of, Aries is considered in astrology to be the kind of youngest sign, but that doesn't always mean bad or inexperienced or you know, it doesn't mean bad all the time. It means enthusiastic. It means shiny and new. It means that Aries doesn't have prejudgments about things. Now, sometimes it's true that sometimes those of you who are Aries or who are friends with Aries can know that sometimes Aries can get super enthusiastic without, I don't know, thinking things through. But that it also means that they have this like eternal wellspring of like Energizer Bunny, fiery enthusiasm for things. Like once they've decided that they want to do something, nothing is going to stop them from exploring that thing, no matter how many more experienced people want to tell them, hey, you better think this through. They're just going to go off and explore it for themselves, come hell or high water. So Queen of Fire, for this beautiful new spring equinox Aries energy, Sun into Aries. And this is a court card. And so, and for those of you who are new, court cards are the people cards in the tarot. So kings, queens, pages, knights, some different tarot systems or different tarot decks name them differently. They'll call them like the princess or the messenger or something like that. But if it's a person, if it's a position that could be occupied by a person, it's called a court card in astrology. And court cards can mean that an actual person is coming into your life to help you with whatever it is that you need to accomplish at this point. It could also mean there are beautiful aspects of yourself that could be like this person that are now coming forward in your personality to help you with whatever is at present. So this being in the present moment, very much Sun into Aries energy. Could be also that some of you have fire signs coming into your lives. And you should be watching for those fiery, enthusiastic Arians coming into your life. But it could also be one of the other fire signs, like Leo or Sagittarius, and showing you how to be more self-confident, assert your independence and creativity, and don't underestimate yourself. This is a beautiful time of year to be starting new things and to not undervalue your contribution to reality and to the world. So beautiful, beautiful energy to begin with. Let's see where we take it, because this is the potential. Quintessential divine feminine archetype of the tarot. She sort of has it all. She's the queen of fire. All right. Present into near future, or building on this theme. Two of Earth. All right. It's a choice. Too much going on at once. The need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. So, it's the beginning of a new astrological cycle. Some of us are all fired up, but maybe you're fired up to do all sorts of new projects that you have in mind. Spring cleaning, or you've got some new creative thing that you would like to do. And then suddenly, Jupiter goes retrograde and Mercury goes retrograde, and things just practically seem up for grabs. Or maybe you're going to be fighting with this Mars conjunct Saturn energy, where you really want to race forward and be like this. But practical stuff in your life, maybe previous karmic buildup, or just real things, real problems, real considerations that you need to deal with in your life, seem to crop up, raise their ugly heads and get in the way. Two of Earth is very much an overwhelmed energy, trying to do too much at once and kind of getting panicked and just running around like your hair's on fire without really having a plan. And this can be the dark side of that, again, Mars conjunct Saturn energy. Mars really just wants to race ahead. Saturn wants to stop you. And so if you can feel the frustration and the buildup in this energy, the temptation is to just run off in whatever direction or run away. So you can see this illustration. This fairy always seems to be just like desperately flying away from something. And above her head are these beautiful glowing orbs, which signify her own internal powers, her magic, her ability to manifest what she wants. Or it could, if you want to read it this way, you could look at this illustration and it could show that she's juggling two things when she should maybe be focusing on one thing, or trying to keep all the plates spinning in the air, and maybe she needs to just slow down and meditate and maybe take a deep breath and take some time off and explore what she wants to do for real, instead of just reacting to whatever's getting on her case from the outside world. Yes, make a decision. Yeah, that decisive energy. If you've got too much going on, or you have all these things that you maybe want to do, but need to funnel down and focus. Two can be a number of, again, that it's just like I was talking about for the full moon, the blue moon, how the opposition can be a balance point, but it can also be sort of a tug of war where you've got competing energies. This Two of Earth is very much more of that tug of war, competing energy feeling, where you're at odds with yourself, or you're of two minds about something. Two can be a number of partnership. It can also be a number of competition. And so, yeah, this is a very hectic feeling energy. And that can happen when you've got that Mars energy wanting to push you forward, but maybe the mind's confused, or maybe you have too many real world obligations and you just end up feeling super overwhelmed and anxious instead. That and Mercury, again, this feels like it's Earth card. It's an Earth card, so this is real world stuff. So this does feel heavy and like Saturn. Saturn's a very earthy, heavy. Saturn's like the king of all things real. He brings structure and is sort of the lord of time, space-time, and physical reality. And so Saturn's the one who always says, Queen of Fire is excited and has this like beautiful inspired thing that she wants to do. And Saturn shows up and goes, well, do you have a business plan? Do you have a backup plan? Have you thought through all the pros and cons of things? And when you've got Mars and Saturn, this two of Earth, and that's interesting because they're both also in Capricorn, which is an Earth sign. Capricorn also wants you to consider all the practical upshots and possible downsides of what you want to do. So this might be that, again, this card super feels like Mars conjunct Saturn in Capricorn, where Mars wants to charge ahead, but Capricorn and Saturn, that double whammy of Earth heavy, let's think this through energy can kind of make you feel super frustrated. And that's valid. So let's see where this goes in the rest of the spread, because this is a potential to be super frustrating because we've got all this fire. And then it feels like an obstructionary earth energy or an overwhelm. So what does the mind or higher mind have to say? Seven of Fire, defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely. You know how I said with those tough like Mercury, Saturn aspects and again, the Mars conjunct Saturn stuff, where you might have to stand your ground on what you think is right for your life, what you are inspired to do, in the face of external criticism or possibly authority figures not getting you. You can see this heroic divine feminine figure astride her dragon or cockatrice basilisk type creature, with all of these other opposing wands coming in to attack and to pick apart her desires. And this can feel sort of like you're besieged by forces, external forces possibly, that just don't line up with your vision of what you want to do next in your life. 7, luckily, and I do say luckily on purpose, 7 is the number in numerology of divine genius. It is the number of your unseen resources in spirit and in higher dimensions. And it's also the number of just, I always say this, stupid, unexplainable luck. The type of luck that just comes in and people just don't understand how you got that lucky. How these things just manage to work out for you every time. But they don't realize that it's not just luck. It's manifestation. It's because you defend your beliefs and decisions. It's because even when things look dark, even when things are tough, even when things look totally up for grab out in the world, in your own life, in your family, in your career, whatever it is that you're dealing with. And this 2 of Earth of overwhelm can also point to our planet, the tough stuff that we're dealing with, trying to manage the forces on our planet, whether it's climate change or environmental issues or our own space. Frankly, if our own space is disorganized or cluttered, or if our body is out of balance in some way and has too much going on at once. This is highly related to the fire card, the 10 of Fire, that has that stress-related health issue stuff. These two are like attached in some way energetically. You can really feel that. Those of you who have been with me for a while and have seen that 10 of Fire card. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Know where you're going. I can't stress this enough. This energy is coming so strongly off of this card. Visualize success. Know where you're headed. Know why you're doing what you're doing, because it doesn't matter what external or outside challenges will come up for you. If you know where you're going, if you know what you believe in, if you know who you want to be next, if you have a vision of things working out for you and you stand your ground on that and you hold that feeling instead of succumbing to the overwhelm or the maybe the lack of confidence that this can bring up, and you choose your battles wisely. You don't remember in the astrological section about not getting sidetracked into conflicts that will take you off course. Choose your battles wisely. Don't just get into dumb comment wars with people online. It wastes your time and it makes you so you cannot move forward in your own journey. But that being said, if there are people close to you in your life that you need to convince of your own dedication to your direction, this is what they mean by hero up in this way. So the mind, luckily, is with the Queen of Fire, fired up, inspired, and you know who you are. And if you stick to your guns and follow the call of divine inspiration, instead of getting bogged down by the things that seem to be, again, this is an Earth card, so things can seem to be real and physical and practical and in your face and needing of your attention. But if you can take a little bit of time out every day, or just secretly know that this is temporary and this is where you're going, this is who you're going to be, then things must shift for you. Let's see where the heart is of the collective. 8 of Earth. Skilled work is rewarded. Learning all there is to know about a topic. Going back to school. Yeah, remember what I said about how if you just focus and don't get pulled off course by stupid stuff and you focus that Saturn, this is again more of that Saturn discipline that we're getting. Mars conjunct Saturn, again, does not have to be a bad thing. It does not have to result in this anxious overwhelm of feeling like you're trying to step on the gas with the brakes on. Saturn can focus you. Saturn can take Mars's just pure fire and channel it into something that has real, lasting power, capacity for change. Saturn, well, frankly, Saturn and Mars get a bad rap sometimes in astrology, but Saturn more so. Saturn is always thought of as like the big, mean schoolmaster who raps you on the knuckles and is always running you down or lecturing you in some way. But Saturn also is the wise wizard. Remember the magician card that showed up in the Bodies of Conscious Wisdom last time, in that position last time, is the card of mastery. Saturn can turn you into a master. If you want to take this raw, enthusiastic Sun in Aries, unformed, fiery energy, and you really want to master something, you can see this angel is sitting here, totally engrossed in his books, and he's been there. I like to point this out about this illustration. He's been there so long that the vines have grown all over him, and he's got vines growing all over his wings. He sat there so long, focusing on this topic that he is fascinated by and which he wants to master. And so you too can be like this. This is the higher energy of that Saturn conjunct Mars focus. You get such laser beam cutting power. You can really drill deep into any topic and master it if you make friends with Mars and Saturn. Just resolve now. Resolve now, friends, to do this. Make friends with Saturn. Make friends with Mars. Channel the Martian fire with Saturn and Capricorn discipline into something that you really love and become a master. So yeah, 8 of Earth. 8 is the number of divine, holy, good fortune coming from all directions. If you turn an 8 on its side, you get that lovely infinity symbol. And so this points to our eternal nature, and this points to our eternal perspective, knowing that we are here to gain mastery. We are here to become masterful creators here in 3D space-time. And if that means that we have to survive some bumps and bruises and some hard knocks and some opposition, and that we need to dedicate ourselves and focus and do whatever it takes to master what we love while we're here for this lifetime, that's what it's going to take. And we were okay with that when we signed up to be here. We really, really were. And the heart knows this. This is wonderful because this is here in the heart. The heart has this tremendous knowledge that we came here to do something amazing. We all have a beautiful gift that we came to share with the collective, with planet Earth, with our fellow consciousnesses here in space-time, in 3D space-time. We all have this divine gift. We all have a fascination topic, at least one, some of us many, to explore here. And the heart knows that it's going to take dedication. It's going to take focus. And higher mind is providing the fire of inspiration. And so, beautiful. This is a very empowered Earth card. Again, we had some empowering Earth cards last time, and we had the King of Earth here in the heart last time, letting us know that not only is all this hard work that we're putting in going to pay off in real earthly touch it, see it, taste it, smell it ways, it's also going to pay off in wonderful, abundant ways. This is Venus and Taurus energy that is not only whimsical and loves beauty, but also loves to get value from whatever investment that it is making in something. So invest in staying heart-based, touch the planet, do what fascinates you, channel this amazing inspiration from higher mind into something that you love. And don't get stuck here. Beautiful. Let's see what the root or body subconscious has to say. Six of Earth is back from the outcome position last time. Gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan, or paying off debts. This is definitely Venus in Taurus energy. Look at the abundance here. Look at the balance. This is also, remember how I said the moon in Libra for this blue moon is talking about balancing this getting mine. I want to get mine. And this is, again, Mercury conjunct Sun in Aries energy. What about me? How am I going to get my stuff and make sure that I come out in the way that I want to? It's a very me, myself, I energy. Versus how can I also balance that with what's good for everyone? And that's the concern of the moon in Libra for this blue moon. So you can see this beautiful Libra themed balancing of scales, and also the 6, which points us to the energy of love. Numerologically, 6 is the number of love, but not just any love, very nurturing, divine feminine, almost motherly love. So you've got 2 archetypes that this could be pointing to right now. One is our Mother Earth, and remember what I said about in the astrological section about going out and touching the planet. If you have Mars conjunct Saturn or enter any of those Mercury squares, if this is making you anxious, go out and touch the planet and feel how supportive and how abundant and how loving she is. So, one of the feminine archetypes that this could be pointing to, Mother Earth. The other feminine archetype this could be pointing to is Venus in Taurus. Venus is coming home to her home sign of Taurus. She rules Taurus. And Taurus is all about not only getting yours, but having good company and good food and good surroundings and a home that you can entertain in and just all the stuff that you want. So gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan, or paying off debt. Having it all and having it be fair. So beautiful to have this in the root body subconscious wisdom helping ground us. Remember I said that Venus into Taurus energy was going to help ground this blue moon. That has the potential to be sort of uncomfortable. But look, all this earth, again, we've had a lot of earth coming in with a bunch of action in Capricorn going on, and now Venus into Taurus. We've got our root body subconscious wisdom, definitely all about comfort, the planet, our own surroundings, our money, our food, whether or not we're balanced Beautiful. This is really great energy. This whole vertical shows us how ready we are for whatever challenges that these next 2 weeks are going to hold for us. There's a potential, yes, of tipping over into this and running around with our hair on fire and getting in stupid flame wars or getting in fights with people unnecessarily, or there's potential to be more like this. And the guides just giving us this beautiful vertical shows us that we have so many resources. This fairy in the Two of Earth has resources that she's not even looking at. You can see she's focused somewhere over here on the external world and does not even look up and see that she has friends in high places, that she has deep powers within, that she has great creative potential that she could be drawing on. Nope, she's not listening. She's not trying to hear that right now. And so, don't be like this, the guides say. Be like this. Know that you have the support of both the planet and Venus and Taurus, the loving energy that pays you back. This is reciprocal love right here. This is reciprocity in all things, and not just airy-fairy spiritual stuff, but real earthly, satisfying investments that pay off. Whether those be relationships, which Venus also rules, creative endeavors that you want to make for yourself, but also money and food and all the things Taurus loves. So beautiful. Okay, let's see. I mean, we've already got it going on with the vertical. What is in the help position? The Queen of Water. Yes, tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. Yeah. Well, this is our first water card on the board in a little bit. We had a couple of really interesting water cards. We had the 10 of Water, which is reminding us why we were doing this. Again, know why you're doing it. Have a compelling why. Have a dream that you're totally focused on. Guides bringing back some heart-based, loving water energy for us. Another court card, another Divine Feminine here, pointing to the fact that help could be on the way in your life from a water sign. So you've got someone who's tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, and loving, possibly coming into your life. Maybe they're a Pisces or a Cancer or a Scorpio, but they've got this type of feel, this energy, this nurturing quality, and coming into your life to help you stay heart-based, help you to not freak out. This is beautiful. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this to come in, because also we're integrating, remember that Chiron is coming to the end of Chiron's journey in Pisces, and Neptune still hanging out in Pisces, giving us that Neptune home sign, like intuition underneath all of this. Neptune, the outer planets are big, slow-moving, sort of overarching theme planets for the collective. And Neptune's been in Pisces for a good long while and will continue to be there. But Chiron is going to be coming out of Pisces in mid-April, I think. And so Chiron finishing his run at the end of Pisces, we've been dealing with a lot of Chiron aspects. And again, new moon in Pisces was all about Chiron. And so it shows that possibly some of us, again, remember how I said that sometimes court cards can represent aspects of you that are now coming up to the fore to help you deal with whatever in life that you need to deal with. This could be some of you having solved your Chiron stuff from his journey in Pisces. And that's beautiful. And I'm happy for those of you who are here. But for those of you who do need help, make sure that you're looking to this energy, that you're staying heart-based. Water cards are all about emotion and heart-based energy. So stay in the heart, where you're going to find the empowerment of your fascination and the connection to your body and the root level and also to higher mind. But stay tenderhearted and empathetic and patient. Look at the patience here. Remember, I don't know how many times I said have patience in the astrological section. This energy is crucial to focus on. Just try to channel her. She's so nurturing. Stay in the heart, everyone. Let's see what the most probable direction collective is moving in the next couple weeks. Oh, great sadness. All right, 3 of air. Take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself or others. This card is an air card, so it's talking about the mind. So when there's this overwhelm or there's stuff that comes up in your life that you've got inspiration, you've got it going on, but there's real life issues, and this could also point to something on the world stage. I never really like to talk about too much crazy predictive astrology stuff because I don't like to set people's brains on something too hard, because we're all creating, again, from moment to moment as conscious creators. This could have something to do with world event stuff. Because we've got Mars conjunct Saturn in Capricorn, and Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn, meaning-wise on a collective level, it has to do with existing structures. It has to do with stuff like government and law and rules and assumptions and the way things have been done in society. It's like societal structures. So Saturn in Capricorn right now is a big deal because Saturn's going to take about 3-ish years in Capricorn, and you can feel already the pressure on the structures, at least here in the US, and possibly worldwide as well. Feel the pressure on the structures of how we relate, systems of power, systems of hierarchy, systems of law, all being heavily challenged and sometimes taken apart at a very low level. Also because Pluto's still in Capricorn. So you've got the 2 heavies. You've got Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, and now Mars. So we've got all of this, like, all the really heavy divine masculine archetypes in Capricorn. And so something possibly could be going on in the news that is causing this sort of feeling. And if there's stuff that Chiron and Pisces has dredged up that is making you personally feel like this in your life, this is a valid card. It is. And I know that sometimes people can look at it and say, oh, I'm scared of this. This is the healing card. This means that life kind of grabs you by the scruff of the neck and says, hold up, you've been running around like a crazy person, trying to keep it together. And now you've got Mars conjunct Saturn, which can also kind of trigger a bunch of like warlike or argumentative or hateful energy in people who just have been in a very low vibration place. And so this could come out, this type of energy could come out in the news where people are just being horrible, or some big event happens in the news that just feels unreal or feels untenable. So those of you who are going through this, who Chiron has dredged up a lot of your old stuff or a lot of the now stuff or things that you're worried about on a very in a very present way in your life, take that time to heal. The need to forgive yourself or others. Remember all that, like, again, there was Chiron stuff last time, and there was like Pluto stuff being dredged up from the depths, and the forgiveness, the need to forgive, the need to see things from another's perspective, the need to understand that if someone does something awful, that a lot of times it's because they are also in great pain, and or systems in the world or great patterns in the world have pushed them in their own mind, pushed them into a corner, and then they've reacted to that. So this need for forgiveness and this need to appreciate this time that you need to heal, that everyone needs to heal and to process all of their stuff. Yes, 3 is an interesting number to have on this card because you look at this family of unicorns here, and there are 3 of them, and you have the adult unicorns looking sort of off the edge of the illustration at something outside of them that has happened. And you look at the illustration, and the illustration itself doesn't really seem to be all that sad. You've got the two unicorns, and then you've got the baby, and they're all together. So it doesn't seem like anything catastrophic has happened to this unit. And 3 is the numerological energy of divine creativity. And this just really harkens back to what I said in the beginning about how we cannot grow, we cannot evolve without contrast or challenge or things coming across our path that we see as undesirable at first, and then somehow are able to transform through the power of forgiveness or healing or integration or redefinition in some way. And so it's almost as if these 2 unicorns are looking off the edge at something outside of them that's going on over here, and they're really sad about it. And yet they're all together as a family. None of them seems to be in any danger or harm. So this could possibly just be a way that we're all looking at something wrong. Air cards are about the mind and about how we think about things. So this could be also Mercury retrograde going back and hitting those aspects and making us look back at things that may have already happened. And maybe this is our time that we need to go over that territory and take time to heal from it. Maybe we've been rushing around and there have been so many, frankly, maybe it's not about a new bad thing happening. Maybe it's about all the awful things that have been happening in the news that have been happening so fast, one after another, that we haven't even had a chance to integrate it. We haven't had a chance to think about them one at a time, decide how we feel about them, heal from them, and derive some sort of positive takeaway from the learning experience. We haven't even had time to do that. So maybe this might point to some sort of lull in the action where we get to go and examine things that have happened and then take that time to heal. This could be an integration time. We could all be feeling great sadness now already for the things that have already happened, and now we need to heal from those and somehow turn those into empowering gifts that we then, and lessons that we then can teach future generations. This is an interesting card to have, and it's a card of stopping, taking time, thinking things through, Mercury retrograde, going back and looking at stuff that maybe we didn't have time to look at before, that maybe were sources of great sadness. Chiron in Pisces. Chiron coming out of Pisces very soon. Not this reading, but next time. So, yeah. Yeah, lots of it could go any direction energy. Because 3, again, is about our creativity and about our decisions about things. 3 is when you have, say, the 1, which is the self. And then you have the 2, which is the other, the number of relationship or reflection. And the 1 and the 2 come together to create this new idea, or a new offspring, or a new invention of some sort, or a new piece of art. Something comes from the cross-pollination of opposites coming together. This is really interesting because you can also feel about the balancing act of the moon in Libra versus the sun and Mercury retrograde in Aries, balancing this energy with that crazy Mars conjunct Saturn T-square at the top, forming this triangular shape. And where's the air sign in that triangular shape? It's Libra. And Libra is all about justice, getting justice for what has happened, coming to a resolution, finding balance, and possibly making something happen that's for the good of everyone. Interesting card to have at the tail end of the spread. This is so much about how we choose to look at things. You can read it, if you want to, you can read it just completely the way that the card is written, or you can feel the energy of how it's up to us. How, yes, there's some scary stuff going on. There's some stuff that's been really overwhelming and taxing and sources of great sadness. And there could be more. There could be more challenges coming up in this next 2-week period. But for us to take the time to go inside and to forgive and to redefine and to possibly figure out something empowering that we can take away from the situation, that is really they're really pointing to that with the strength that they are showing in the rest of this spread. And the fact that the Queen of Water, signifying all of that Neptunian energy, this also the Chiron energy coming out of Pisces, which is all about healing. Chiron in astrology is all about deep pain and healing of that pain, and whether or not we're successful at healing that pain, and maybe we will be and maybe we won't, maybe it will take more than one lifetime, but that's okay because we're eternal beings. That's okay because we will still be here after this life is done and should not pass judgment on whether or not we transformed a couple of our themes, because our themes are ongoing. And this is really something to remember when you look at things on a very long body collective level like this. Those of you who, I realize this is a very collective spread, just because it's a very collective processing kind of 2 weeks, with this blue moon being so literally pivotal. It pivots on this point of a Mars-Saturn conjunction, which could either be all about war and hate and frustration and being horrible to each other and not having and having a tug of war between us and them. We've got that energy, but we've also got the potential of processing that pain into something empowering and balancing it with this 6 of Earth feel of we can all be in this together. We're all on the planet together and we can all solve this together. Let me see if the guides will just give me one more card on this 3 of Air, because I'm feeling that this is up to us how we interpret and up to us how we manage, whether we get stuck in this and end up really in deep sadness, or whether we're able to transform it into something empowering and forgive ourselves and others. Let's see if they have one more card for us. That can maybe give us some extra info. Yep, it's that same card from last time, the 5 of Water, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, crying over spilled milk. Remember, those of you who, again, I don't want this to get super long, so those of you who are just joining us, see if you can't go back and just watch the part of last week's reading where I was talking about the 5 of Water, because there is so much in this card, and there's a possibility. There's always a choice here. You've got 5, again, this pivot point of being sort of stuck in the middle. This feels like this present moment that we're in, that we can decide how to look at things or not. 5 is the number of not only humanity, of being very human. You know that phrase, I'm only human. We have 5 fingers and 5 toes on 4 of our 5 major appendages. We've got 5 fingers, 5 toes. We've got 5 major appendages. We've got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. And so we're very 5-oriented creatures, we as humans. And the 5 can be this number of sort of being stuck in the middle of something and not having made a decision, right? The need to make a decision right here. Being of 2 minds. Because 5 is in the middle when you count to 10. You are not the 1. You're not at the beginning. You're not at the end of the cycle like a 9, or the complete reinvention of self that you get with a 10. And so you're like in the middle and you haven't decided. And sometimes when something happens in your life that gives you great sadness, and this is definitely the Chiron and Pisces energy, because this was what happened. This was where the mind was last time. So you can see things, you can see all the pain, all the things that you judge in the world, all the great sadness, all the things not going your way. And maybe the stuff that happened to you in childhood that Chiron is now digging up. And you don't see the positive in a situation because you don't see how this is transforming you into a masterful, conscious creator. You don't see how strong you are going to be on the other side. So I want to just point out that you've got these goblets that have fallen over, and 3 of them, yes, are gone or broken, or their contents have been lost in some way. And 2 of them, though, are still standing. And you can see how beautifully in this illustration, one is golden and solar, and one is more shadowy in the background and feels lunar. So this definitely feels like this blue moon energy, this balance of solar Aries energy, what about me? And lunar, let's balance what about me with everyone else and see if we can transform this pain so that we're no longer crying over spilled milk, but that we do gain some sort of positivity, because the vertical of the collective shows all of this power and balance. If we can remain heart-centered with the Queen of Water, inspired with the Queen of Fire, and focus on what we love the most. And then hopefully we can transform these cards. And these are both choices. It's interesting. A mind choice of how we think about it, and a water choice, air choice, air mind, and a heart choice of how we feel about it. This is amazing. So the guides are basically saying the same thing here in 2 different ways. You've got to see the positive in the situation somehow. You've got to not cry over spilled milk. You've got to forgive yourself and others. Only by doing this is there a possibility of things turning out balanced and happy and loving for everyone on the planet. Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna let these stand. Even though they look sort of freaky, I just hope all of you can get the energy from them that these are a choice. These are a choice for us. We can be empowered and inspired and loving and forgiving and get the benefit from this challenge of especially the blue moon energy and the Mars conjunct Saturn energy, or we can cry over spilled milk, stay in the disempowered place, and stay with the 2 of Earth place. Yeah, I don't think any of us wants to stay here, so that's kind of obvious. And I leave it to you, beautiful conscious creators. Make your choice. Decide now that you're going to be this, that you're going to be like these 2 queens here, that you're going to reap the benefits of staying inspired, empowered, heart-based, forgiving, and defining things in a way that empowers you. Great. Whew, there's a lot. Okay, let's see here. I need to do some shortcuts. I was so deep in that. I don't even know what I'm doing. Energy. There's a lot of crazy energy going on. Let me do the energy oracle. And I'm also going to do these. These are new. I'm very excited about them. But let me start with the energy oracle by Sandra Ann Taylor. And those of you who have not seen my shortcut process before, it's a quick and dirty 3-card spread that I do in this style for myself. The first part of this reading is to flip the deck. All right, action. Look at this, these 2 horses, just like the sort of solar-lunar balance that we're getting. Action, this feeling like Mars wants to take action. And this feeling that you could react in a way that's just reactionary. Look how these feel kind of the same. Like this horse is just gonna run away out of control, right? And and you've got one horse that's kind of holding back. It really, again, feels like Mars and Saturn. Mars is like, let's go, and Saturn's like, wait, do we have a plan? And so much to consider before you go running off half-cocked, as they like to say. So yeah, maybe contemplation, maybe taking time to heal and forgive before you go running down the garden path, or maybe before you judge somebody without having all the facts. 17 reduces again to an 8, which is this 8 of Earth. Again, our divine nature, the ability to gain mastery from balancing these two forces. The part of us that is impetuous and wants to just go now, like Sun in Aries. And the part of us that is like Saturn, who takes a more pragmatic, Saturn in Capricorn, a more pragmatic approach. So balance these two so that your action can have lasting and rewarding return on investment. Great. Okay, let's do a little... Oh, it wants to cut really deep in the deck. That's interesting. Okay. Happy family. 4. 4 is a number of foundation. And so you can see the sort of, it just feels solid. It feels like when you have, say, 4 posts on a chair or 4 posts on a table, it feels like something that you can rest your weight on and be solid. And this is, again, that Venus into Taurus energy. Venus in Taurus is all about the things you can touch, taste, feel, smell, the things that you can physically experience. And it's so much Venus in Taurus is also about the comforts of home and making your home into a place that feels like this, that feels like the 6 of Earth, that feels like you have acceptance, that feels like there's a forgiveness energy there. And maybe... Again, I talked about the planet Earth. I talked about decluttering your space. I talked about possibly making time for meditation. This all... Also, I'm getting an energy of our Earth family, of how we can balance reciprocity energy so that we can all benefit. That it's not just some of us getting ours, but it's all of us benefiting from the energy. And this again can be your reason. Some of you, and this doesn't have to mean your blood family. I realize some of you are dealing with Chiron pain that has to do with old family stuff. It does not have to be the family you're related to. It could be any sense of community or belonging, or even connecting to the whole of Gaia consciousness. If you want to go that macro about it, if you want to get connected to just the planet Earth, you could totally do that. Or if you wanted to connect to your soul family in the way that the moon card showed us, that we're all part of something much bigger than we can see on the surface. We're connected in so many ways. And this rainbow here shows not only the integration of all of our chakras, our spiritual awakening, being active in this illustration, but also that all of us are different viewpoints of divine source, that we are, the only reason any of us are here is because we provide a perspective that source cannot live without, that source needs us in order to look at the world in our own specific, beautiful, very individual way. And so we all want to go for this, whether it's on a macro level where entire planet Earth is involved, or whether it's on a micro level where it's just us looking for maybe 1 or 2 other people who understand us, whether they're blood relations or not. This is the reason. And it's good to build yourself a foundation. So this could have multiple meanings. Definitely use your intuition on this card, because this could be about the people you're surrounding yourself with. Could be about your own home and whether your space is the way you want it. And this could be about your relationship to the planet or to the human collective. We all need to be focused on this a little bit more so we can get out of this grief period, this overwhelm, this not believing any of this is even happening to us. We want to get to the good part. So I'm getting the feeling that I cut so deep in this deck, and Do you want me to take this one or that one, guys? This one. Okay. Seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel. 41, again, that number of 5, the human number. And yet, up here in higher mind, this is an empowered human being that is activated and has activated that deep, intuitive, beautiful, spiritual part of themselves. So, in order to get the beautiful returns and to know what right action to take, we've got to connect to our higher self. Remember what I said in the astrology section about being able to tap into the higher natures of all of these planets that are going on and to be connected to the divine alchemical fire of higher mind and to allow that to drive your action in the world and to allow you to connect with all the resources, all the people, all the situations that you need in your experience. You've got to have your intuition and your divine connection open to higher mind. And this, again, Archangel Haniel and Archangel Uriel, they're giving us a new archangel archetype here, possibly, to help us open this divine intuition so that we can start acting on a higher level and not just on a reactionary, knee-jerk, what do I see in front of my face and how do I feel about it right now, because I don't know how to feel any other way except reactionary. We need an alternative way, a higher way of being. This is a big, again, deep stuff coming through in these energy cards, very esoteric stuff. I hope some of you who are new can still follow your intuition on this, that Archangel Haniel from the beginning, the moon card, talking about important psychic insights and things going on beneath the surface, letting us know that even if stuff on the surface looks crazy or undesirable or untenable, or it feels overwhelming, or it feels like people are opposing us, or things are just bad on the surface, there's something going on in our development that we are ready for. Even if we can't see it, even if there's just no glimmer of it on the surface just yet, something is going on with us that we can't see, that's going on a giant, deeper level, that's much deeper than any of us can fathom. Just like in that moon card illustration where you saw just a little bit of that body of water, but you can tell it's just big, right? We're so much bigger than this. We're so much bigger than anything that's going on the surface. And so know that you're being guided right now. Know that your intuition is being opened. And the goal is that you feel accepted. You feel like your relationships are reciprocal. You feel like your space and your planet are all taken care of, and that you can then take masterful action without feeling like it's just knee-jerk reacting, but feeling like it has a purpose and that you're heroing up and that it's all for something. So this is a very empowered 5 versus this disempowered 5 here. And yet we've still got this lunar solar balancing clue here that's letting us know that something good, these 2 goblets are still standing, and aren't they gorgeous? And if we could look at those, if we could look at the things that are working in our lives and also just work on ourselves quietly, internally, in the heart, no matter what's going on out there, we're going to become masters, just like that magician card that showed up last time. Deep stuff, but really good. Hope you're keeping up. And even if you're not, just feel the energy. Honestly, just feel the energy of the vibrations coming through in my voice, the messages that your guides really want you to hear, the overwhelming messages that your guides always want you to hear are, number 1, you are worthy. Number 2, it's going to be okay. And, underneath it all, you're eternal, and that's why you're worthy, and that's why you're going to be okay. So, good stuff. Okay. Any of my fellow tarot readers out there who would like to use my quick cross spread and my shortcut process, you are more than more than welcome to do so, as long as you attribute them properly. I have made these spreads available through Creative Commons license, and if you go to shinyallthetime.com/cc, which stands for Creative Commons, I have all the attribution information that you just need to cut and paste into your video description or into your project somewhere. You just need to attribute these spreads to me, Izobel Freeman, and link to my website, www.shinyallthetime.com, and you are free to use these spreads if you would like to. This is a new deck. This is, I haven't used this deck very much. It is a deck by Denise Linn, and it's called the Sacred Traveler Oracle. So I've done like one draw from this deck, and I can't begin to explain to you how like the energy is just so good. I'm so excited about this deck. I'm just gonna stop babbling and do a read from this deck. Journey by moonlight. Believe in magic. Look at this empowering image of the moon. Realize that you are worthy, eternal, and that magic is happening in your life, even if it doesn't look that way. Sometimes this is about getting a different perspective. Sometimes if you're out there in the light of day, in the everyday quotidian world, going about your business, trying to do your job, relating to people on an everyday, just, normal, quote unquote, normal basis, you don't often see the magic happening underneath the surface. But sometimes if you take time to possibly go within, meditate, connect to your guides, go inside in possibly prayer or a contemplation, or you take time to maybe do something by moonlight. Change your perspective just a little bit. It doesn't mean that you don't always have to do things by literal moonlight, but they mean change your perspective. It's kind of like that Hanged Man or the Awakening card that we sometimes get where the angel is hanging upside down, just to gain a change of perspective. And that can help you redefine things. But there are magical forces in your life right now that you may not be aware of that are working behind the scenes. So another just comfort that they're giving us. Transformation. A fresh, new way of living emerges. Look at this. So much fire, like fiery phoenix energy. And where does that transformation come from? It comes from the crucible of challenge, the crucible of, frankly, discomfort, the crucible of maybe things not going the way that we want. Why do we change stuff? Because we don't like how it's going right now. And we need to really know that whatever challenges that we're dealing with in our life and on the world stage, we are ready for. And this is what the beautiful takeaway. To see the positive in a situation, realizing that you are this. That something in you that was one way, that was going about life in a disempowered way, is somehow going to change through the crucible of this challenge or this uncomfortable situation or this sadness or this disappointment about things. You're going to emerge in some beautiful, new, empowered, phoenix-like way. Gorgeous. Staying focused. Hold the course. What are they saying? Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely. And look at this amazing Saturn-like Gandalf wizard, wise old man figure who is far-seeing, who can see things on a very long body perspective, knows the outcome that awaits us after the challenge, after the trials that we're going through, and knows that we're masters, just like that magician card that we got in the last reading. Hold the course. Keep the faith. You are becoming a master. Stay focused on that which you're inspired by. Just like this student here. And things are going to happen. Just like this beautiful 6 of Earth at the bottom. I'm not going to pick this deck up, but you know it's there. Guides letting you know. Stay focused. Keep the faith. You're going through an amazing transformation, and boy, will your life be magical once you get out on the other side. I love this deck. This deck is so awesome, and I've only read from it once. I've flipped through the cards once, and I've read from it once, and the energy is so good. I'm very, very excited to be adding this to my collection of cards. And for those of you who do want to purchase any of these decks that I'm using in this reading and in any of my readings, you can go to shinyallthetime.com/resources, where I have listed all the decks that I am currently using in my readings. And if you do purchase a deck through my resources page, just know that those are affiliate links. And if you purchase a deck through my page, a little piece of your purchase does come back to me to help support my work. FYI, you do not pay any extra by purchasing through my resources page. It's just a way that if you like what I'm doing and if you find these readings inspiring and helpful, it's a way that you can support my work. And if you do purchase a deck through my resources page, I thank you in advance. Gorgeous. Okay. Heavy stuff, but really empowering if we believe. Okay, I'm gonna do our Angel Answers card. And I just feel like I hope that all of you can feel the love. The love that the guides are giving us in the face of great challenge. I know we're all going through a lot, and I know there's a lot going on out in the world, and I want to add my encouragement. I'm not exempt from any of this. There's stuff going on in my own life that feels like this, You are not alone, any of you. Everyone in some way is dealing with some sort of Chiron pain, is dealing with some sort of disbelief and disillusionment at things that are going on in the world. But underneath it all, here's hoping that we can remain empowered, that we can hold the course, just like the wizard figure was talking about, and we can be empowered. We can take away something good from all of this. All right, Angel Answers card. All right, you're ready, everyone. Remember what I said, we don't get challenges that we're not ready for. We are masters. We are masterful, conscious creators. We're not unworthy. Like sometimes in our upbringing or in our early influences, we get this idea that we're less than, or that we're somehow unworthy or broken or bad or not enough in some way. And the guides just want us to know that no matter what pain that we're facing right now, we're ready for the lessons. And there's also that phrase that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Well, when the student is ready, the challenge appears. We are ready to take on whatever is going on and hero up, just like this beautiful divine feminine heroine figure up here. We're ready. Guides just want you to know. All right. Let's close this reading out with our beautiful, bubbly, and fun victory reward dice. And I'm just going to close my eyes and choose one of these dice because we're doing a lot of heavy stuff. We should reward ourselves in some lovely Venus and Taurus way. Remember that Venus and Taurus energy is going to be underneath. It's going to feel like a nice comfy cushion. Or maybe a blanket that we need to cocoon ourselves in and just, hide from the world for a little while. So let's see what we can do. Which one will it be? Okay. Here we go. All right, go shopping. That's a very Venus in Taurus thing to do. Reward yourself in some way that's not going to be unsustainable, that's not going to break your bank, that's just going to make you feel a little more happy and comfortable. Get yourself something that makes you feel worthy. Get yourself something that makes you feel beautiful or happy in some way. And hey, if that means go shopping and buy something that's going to do good for the world, you can do that too. Maybe there are tons of products out there that are attached to something socially responsible. So if you want to make the world a better place, do that. If you want to just make yourself feel good, do that. There's no harm in that. The more happy you are, the more you become like this, the more you contribute to the beautiful world that we're all building together. So you deserve it. Go shopping, just a little bit. Whatever is sustainable for you. All right, gorgeous. Oh, and look, we've got another upright face here in the front, so maybe that means buy more shoes. Whatever this means to you. You don't have to buy more shoes, but the guides could let you have a bonus. All right, wonderful. Thank you so very much for joining me for this, wow, heavy but empowering reading. If you have enjoyed this message and feel like you got value and that you were uplifted by it, please do give me a like, subscribe to my channel, comment on this video, share this video with anyone that you feel like needs to hear this message. Yes, and if you would like your own reading, I know again, this is a very general reading, so if you'd like your own reading that's totally specific to you, that's completely all about you and the guides focus on you, I have a services page at shinyallthetime.com. It's shinyallthetime.com/services. And if you purchase a reading, there are all sorts of different kinds of readings too, not just this configuration. Readings for all sorts of topics. Whatever might pique your interest, if you order that from the services page, I will be happy to serve you in any way that you do order from that page. All right, until next time, do some shopping. Whatever is going to be sustainable and also joy-making, happy-making for you. Get out there, stay shiny, no matter what's going on the surface. You've got this. You're ready. And I will see you all next time.